Hey YouTube comic community, this is Jimmy the Geek Aficionado, and I want to welcome you back to what was in that Monster Marvel collection. This is the Slab edition, so stay tuned. Thank you for clicking play on the video. I'd like to ask you to click the thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and ring that notification bell so that you can get alerted every time we bring out great content. Thanks. So, like I said, I bought 1,400 Marvel Silver and Bronze Age books. And this was a couple of years ago, right? So, over that time, obviously I've taken some books out that went into my own personal collection. But on the other side of that, what I did was I took some books that are part of my personal collection and I sent them off to get graded. Mostly, I mean, I wanted to see what these books are going to come back as, right? Why not? So I have a few that I've done, probably about a dozen or so, and I'm going to show you what they look like. So I've always liked this book. I've always loved this character ever since his death, and the fact that he's never come back. And to be quite honest with you, I'm not really happy about the fact that they rebranded this character to another character that showed up in his series, yet he's been completely forgotten in his, I mean, unless you're an old school Marvel collector or a fan, you probably don't even know about this character that much. But what we do have is Marvel Superheroes, issue number 12. Let's fix this guy. Marvel Superheroes, issue 12. This is the first appearance of Mar-Vell, who's Captain Marvel and was Captain Marvel for quite some time and played an integral role in the Thanos saga with the Infinity Gauntlet and all that stuff. And this is his first appearance here in this issue, as well as Jan Rog, who was the primary antagonist in the Captain Marvel movie that starred Carol Danvers. Carol Danvers, who first debuted in Marvel Superheroes issue number 13. Right? So, sent those two books off, right? This one came back in 8.0. This one came back at 7.5. And for square-bound books from the Silver Age, that's not anything to scoff at, right? These are solid, higher grade. Well, no, these are high grade. Like anything in the VF to near mint range going up, anything 7.5, technically 7.0, 7.5 and up is high grade, right? These are high grade copies. Happy to have them in my personal collection because I love both books. I love the characters, right? Miss Marvel, I've always really enjoyed, even before they rebranded her to Captain Marvel, right? They had her taken on as, as a symbol, as an homage to the original Captain Marvel, yet it doesn't really play out, right? Because he's forgotten. And that's not a really cool thing, right? I don't appreciate that as a longtime reader, but I get that they're trying to, appeal to a newer crowd, and if you watch the Marvel movies, Mar-Vell is now a woman. So I'm going to leave it at that, right? So, two great books, two great grades. Super happy to have them into the PC. And we'll put these right here. It's probably going to build a nice little thing right in front of the camera, so move that over. Sent off a couple of Spider-Man books. Now, I sent these off because I had other copies myself as well, but I wanted to see what they were going to come back as. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 28. This is the first appearance of the Molten Man, and it's a solid black cover, and it is incredibly notorious for showing off every single stress line and spine crack and every other thing you can think of. This is a 5.5, which for this book is a really rock solid grade. Getting a 5.5 in an all black cover from the 60s, right, where kids were notoriously tossing them around and whatever, that's a solid grade, right? Can't say anything about it. Can't deny it. Can't knock it. Can't anything. And what's also a really solid grade is this Amazing Spider-Man number 50, the first appearance of the Kingpin in a 7.0. Now, I believe the page quality is cream to off-white, so this one saw a little bit more of the of the elements, because of the paper quality on it. But nonetheless, right? This is a great book. It's a great grade. It's a 7.0. It's got a slight, miswrap on it, but first Kingpin, 7.0. That's awesome, right? So there is a lot of high grade stuff in this collection, right? So anything, anytime you can get these books in these kind of conditions, right, it's still a really good thing. This one doesn't go for a whole lot. I mean, unless it's super high grade, because then it's like astronomical. But they're both great books in great grades to have. All right, let's see what else we got. This one everybody loves. Avengers number 57. First appearance of the Vision. This book, kind of hot right now, right? WandaVision, right? I mean, he's come out, right? And his book, kind of went up and it kind of went down again. But WandaVision TV show, this book is catching fire again. My good friend George from D-Rock Comics just got himself a nice copy of this. So I'm sure he's happy to have one. I'm happy to have mine. And this one is a big favorite, right? Undervalued, totally undervalued, because it's not a big key, right? It's a transition book. There's a lot of Marvel series from the 60s that predated characters' individual series. Doctor Strange was in Strange Tales. His first appearance was there, issue 110. And he was in there for quite some time. He was in there all the way up to issue 168 when it became Doctor Strange with issue 169. That said, there was Tales of Suspense and Tales to Astonish, which featured, Tales of Suspense featured Iron Man and Captain America, and Tales to Astonish featured at one time Ant-Man, and then it was Hulk and Submariner. And they went off and started their own series. But the only two characters out of those four that actually got number ones were Submariner and Iron Man, but not after they concluded their stories in this book, which is Iron Man and Submariner number 1. Now, Reggie Simmons from Reggie Collects Comics has a video where he talks about how the little what is it? Once in a lifetime special issue. The little what do you call them? It's like a sticker from the fairgrounds. It's like a blue ribbon special here, but the Submariners and the Iron Mans both have those. Consequently, this collection also came with 2 copies of Iron Man and 2 copies of Submariner each, and we'll get to those in a minute. But this guy came back an 8.5. 8.5, and I'm going to say it's off-white to white pages. So that's a fantastic grade for this book, right? 8.5, nice high grade. I love it. I absolutely love it. So some things are doing really well with this collection, I must say. And I'm happy to have picked it up. Okay, like I said, 2 copies of Submariner number 1. I had them both graded, and what did we end up with? An 8.0 and a 9.2. Now I was off, I think, this like half a grade on both of these. I thought it was an 8.5 and a 9.4, but 8.0, 9.2, huge, absolutely huge, right? And we'll be talking about the valuations on all of these books at the end of the video, so you're going to want to stick around for that. But 8.0 and a 9.2, awesome grades. This book is going to be doing wonderfully, right? Because nobody can get the first appearance of the Submariner in the Golden Age, right? Well, unless your name is Man Cave. But getting that, I mean, it's Marvel Comics number 1, but the Fantastic Four, number 4, where he shows up in his first appearance in the Silver Age, has also caught significant fire and is just going up in price constantly. This is the next book to get after that. This is the next, major cover, and book for the Submariner is Submariner number 1. So don't sleep on that one. Okay. Now we're getting into some more cool stuff, right? Everybody in the world was taken by surprise by the loss of Chadwick Boseman to the world at large and to the Marvel Cinematic Universe as the character Black Panther that he portrayed. That said, this collection did include some of those we have Black Panther Fantastic Four number 52. First appearance of the Black Panther, and Black Panther number 1, his first ongoing title. This guy had some water damage to it, which was very unfortunate. And there's a water stain that occurred along the edge of the spine here. So never dismiss what water damage can do to the grade on your comics. So always keep that in mind, right? When you're out hunting and you see some stuff that had water damage, and some of the stuff in this collection did have water damage, so it's going to lower those grades, and I'm going to grade those and price those accordingly. But yeah, it was a little bit lower than I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to get a 6. It came out to be a 5, right? Because they really kind of hit me on that water damage there. But this guy came out really nice and high. 9.2 for a Bronze Age big key, right? Very cool. All right, moving along. Okay, now it's story time. And I'm going to get rid of this guy. Now, there was also in this collection an Amazing Spider-Man number 129. I cleaned it up, pressed it, sent it out for grading, and it came back in a 5.5. Now, I already have a pretty high grade Amazing Spider-Man 129, so I tried selling it at a reasonable market price, and nobody bought it, right? It didn't bite because the hype from the Punisher joining the Marvel Cinematic, the Netflix, universe. I don't know if it's really part of it or not. The hype had kind of died down a little bit, so the people weren't really going after it, right, at the market rate. So that market rate was cascading down. But we also know that it's going to come back up. But at the same time, there was another book that was kind of coming down, in price as well. And I came across this book because I didn't have it. It wasn't in the collection, and I didn't have a copy of it. And I didn't want to get it when it was, all high. But I came across a copy of this at a local comic book store in Chicago, and I made an offer. I said, "Hey, would you be willing to trade this book for an Amazing Spider-Man 129?" Now, this book was not owned by the store. It was a consignment issue. So they had to contact the owner of the book and check with him to see if he was willing to trade for this book. And it turns out he was. So much to my delight, I was able to finally pick up a copy of this. And I did so, oh God, what was it? It was, oh my gosh, what was it? I want to say it was around Christmas of 2019. And I was able to get my first copy of Iron Man number 55 in a 6.0, the first appearance of Thanos, the first appearance of Drax. Big book, big key book. But while Endgame and Infinity War were going on, right, that book was colossal, right? I mean, it was so high in price, and I didn't want to pay those high prices, but I didn't have a problem with paying a lower price that I put into that book and was able to trade for it to get this book. So win-win for me, right? Now, this book has probably come down a little bit more, and the Punisher one has kind of stayed up or maybe gone up a little bit, right? But I still think they're relatively in a similar area in terms of value, because, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen, right? And obviously, Punisher comes back in a Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's going to shoot up, right, again. But again, I have a nice high-grade copy, so I'm not missing it. To me, this was a win, and it was a win for the owner of this book, or the previous owner of this book. So we came out on top. I think both of us came out on top, and I don't regret it in the slightest. Now, let's see. So we've got that one. The big book that was in this collection, the one major key that was in this collection, was a Daredevil number 1. Sadly, it was missing a page. So it was already in kind of bad shape. I mean, it was water damaged, just not looking real good. But it was missing a page. And I'm a completist, right? I want the book whole. I want a whole book. So what I was able to do is I was able to sell that book, right? And I don't normally sell a book that I don't have. So I did sell the book. I sold the book because I knew where I could get another one. I sold that book, and I sold it to fund this book. And I got myself my very own Daredevil #1 in a 4.0. I did that at the beginning of 2020, long before the news broke this year, 2021, of them casting Daredevil in the new upcoming Spider-Man. I guess it's called Homeworlds, or maybe it's something different. I don't know if that's just the working title or not. But the Spider-Man 3 for the MCU, that Charlie Cox, who was Daredevil in the Netflix series, is reprising his role as Matt Murdock. At least Matt Murdock. We don't know if it's going to be Daredevil in there yet, but Matt Murdock in the new Spider-Man movie. Sales have gone through the roof, right? Epic increase in price, right? Just very dramatic. But I don't have to worry about that because I got this book in a great grade for a 60s book for a big key character, right? It's not Thor. It's not, first Iron Man, but it is the first Daredevil, and I've always loved Daredevil. I think he's a great character that doesn't get anywhere near the kind of attention that he really deserves. But I think that he's finally starting to see that. So that's a big win for me. And thank you very much for watching this video and checking us out, and keeping track with me, following me along in this journey of what happened with this collection. And stay tuned for more. Thanks again.